So today's video is going to cover a topic we get asked about a lot, and that's our Starlink installation in our Airstream. We've documented it pretty good through Facebook and Instagram and on our website, and I've written up a document that kind of takes all those posts and has links to them all with pictures and a little bit of a write-up, a parts list and everything, and I'll put a link to that in the description below, so you've got that. But we've never actually gotten this video put together. Started it a few times, and it usually just ends up kind of blowing up and ballooning into something different. So we're just going to keep it simple, and this should be a pretty quick video just walking through our installation, showing you how we've got it in the rig. We'll talk a little bit how it's evolved over time as we go. So real quick, just to get started, we've got a 2022 25-foot. Rhett, what are you doing? All right, let's try that again. So real quick, we've got a 2022 25-foot Airstream Globetrotter front bed queen, and we've got Gen 2 of Starlink. So that's their articulated dish. That way you know where we're coming from. When we got started, our rig doesn't have the external Ethernet port like they're coming with now, and because of the version of Starlink we had to cut our cable and install some RJ45 ends to do this installation. And if you've got to cut your cable, we've got a video that talks about how to do that too, so I'll link that below. Diving right in, our router lives on a shelf behind our television. It keeps it out of the way and also close to a source of power. And over time, we did add a battery backup. When we were back in Florida for the holidays, we kept losing power quickly. And if you didn't know, power cycling the router 3 times quickly will factory reset it. And it only takes so many times of coming back and having to reset the router to your settings that we just bought the battery backup, and now we don't have to worry about that. Another reason we chose this spot was for the ability for us to route the wiring. So right here I've installed a RJ45 receptacle, but this was the spot where we had the factory Victron MPPT controller. When we upgraded our batteries to lithium, we also added the Bluetooth dongle so that we could use the app from our phone, which basically left the MPPT controller here unused. So had a hole in the wall, so we were able to snake the cable down from this spot under our couch and along the back wall to the spot where the factory satellite and cable receptacle came in. All right, so outside we replaced the factory satellite and cable receptacle with one from SmartPlug, and it had a coax and a Ethernet port, so that way we could still keep the cable hookup, but then we also added the Ethernet port for Starlink. Our rig already had a SmartPlug power receptacle, so using the SmartPlug adapter here just kind of kept everything matching and makes it look actually like it matches better than it did from the factory. So the hole pattern on these is pretty standard, and it's just 4 screws, so it was really easy to replace and just hooking up the wires on the inside. So that meant we've got a piece of cable protected in our walls that runs from the receptacle I showed you behind our TV down to this receptacle. So that gets us, a place to plug Dishy in outside and a place to plug the router in inside. So the next step was to cut the cord and install some RJ45 ends. And like I said before, we've got a video that covers that, so I'll put a link to it below. Go ahead and check that out. And if you like this type of content, go ahead and like this video and give us a subscribe. It helps us out a lot. So moving towards the front of the rig, we've already said in some other videos that we like to keep Dishy up off the ground. So we've got it mounted on a flagpole, probably the majority of the time. Just keeps it better protected, keeps the cord routed under our rig so it's protected from any campground mishaps. Still gives us the flexibility if we have to move it out and onto the ground, we can, but this is our default. For our flagpole, we chose the WeBoost 25-foot telescopic pole, and it's been really steady and good for us. And it goes down into a hitch-mounted flagpole holder, and that Don't really have much to say about that. It's a hitch mounted flagpole holder. It holds the flagpole and it goes into a hitch receiver. So for the hitch receiver, it's a bolt-on hitch receiver designed for a 4x4 tubular bumper like you'll find on the back of a lot of RVs. But of course the frames of the Airstreams are 2x5 steel. So went ahead and bought some longer bolts to deal with that 5-inch tall frame. I went ahead and I found a metal shop that had some 2x5 steel that I could purchase a small piece of. You know, used a spray can and painted that up. Took a couple of plastic ends that I got off Amazon, capped it off so it just made it look a little cleaner and more finished, and then used some VHB automotive adhesive to put it in place and hold it onto the existing frame rail. And that gave me a 4-inch piece of steel to mount this hitch receiver to. Probably a little bit of overkill, but it made me feel better about dealing with winds and shake from the trailer. And then once we got everything bolted together, it really holds that plate in place, and that extra piece of steel in place, and it's not going anywhere. When we put this all together, I do use a anti-rattle clip between the flagpole holder and the hitch receiver, and that just really tightens everything up and helps deal with any shake from wind or the trailer as we move around inside. So that's it. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you got any questions, drop them in the comments below, or if you've got any comments about your setup and how you guys do it, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time. So see you down the road.